always frustrates me, and I've gotten to the point that if I get one more job that shows me this, I won't even respond to it anymore because it just drives me totally nuts. Because I'm competing against somebody who's going to make a 2 foot by 2 foot hole in the wall. I'm not competing with someone who's going to help you figure out what's going on there. Because here's another story for you. The World Trade Center, prior to us getting hit by airplanes, there was a bombing. I don't remember exactly the year.
90s,
93. Yeah, so I think it was maybe around 96 that I was asked to come in. An architect had a job to do sampling for fire rating on the B3 garage level, which was where all of the dumpsters came in and out of the building, where the garbage was handled. And there's an incredible amount of garbage that came through that building on a daily basis and came down and had to be figured out how to deal with it. So you have a lot of paper, you have a lot of combustibles, and they wanted to know what the fire rating was of the various materials of the building. Can you see what I'm doing here? Mm-hmm. So we're sitting there in the office, and they're saying, well, we want to make a 2 foot by 2 foot square hole in the wall over here in order to get enough materials so we can send them to the lab in order to find out the fire rating. Well, I don't know how much they need for the fire rating, but what I do ask them is, what's over here outside of the garage area? And what they say to me is that's where Customs stores all of the contraband material that they have seized. At which point in the conversation I say, well, are you really sure that you want to make an access port in the back of the garage? This is true. So they all kind of look at each other, and the fellow from the testing lab is there, and I say, what about if we make a 2-inch diameter core? Would that give you enough material that you'd be able to determine the fire rating? You know, I don't know why they want 2 foot by 2 foot. You know, maybe they need a whole lot. But you know, usually they don't tell me why they need it. I have to try and figure out why they need it. There's more to this particular story. We get them down to the point that they're only making a little bitty hole. Somewhere over here, we have a hallway, and this is the little office for the guy that runs the whole operation of relieving the World Trade Center of garbage. And they have a glazed concrete block, which is, you know, it's a little different than the usual concrete block. And the deal is, it's 8 inches by 16 inches, 2 foot by 2 foot. Well, this is 8 by 16 inches. And the deal is that we need to take this block out of the wall right here, right outside of his little door, without putting up any plastic around us. This is a narrow hallway, and they're running these little wheeled dumpsters through the whole time that we're there, so we can't block off the hallway. And we have to take this block out without damaging it because they want to put it back later. Nobody knows where to go get another one. They're not asking us to do that. They just say, you got to take this out and not damage it and put it back. So what we do is we have a liaison with the building, with someone who's supposed to help us get through things. Now, we had totals, every single person on the crew had to go through a security clearance to get into the building, for one thing. We had a little bitty pickup truck, a little Isuzu pickup truck that we brought in with our equipment, and every time that we came into the building, we had to totally unload it. They didn't have sniffer dogs or anything. They had totally unload it, put it all back in, and it took about an hour and a half to get into the building every morning. But we have this liaison who's like trying to help us through this, and it was one of those situations where everywhere you went in the building, you had to have your security badge and check the security. Which, in retrospect, for as much security as they had, it didn't do them any good in the end. But So we go to put this hole in the wall, and the liaison goes and gets a liter Coke bottle. Oh, what we're using is a worm drive saw, a Skill worm drive saw with a diamond blade, which we can only go about that deep into the block, and once we go that deep, then we have to like mine out the block without doing further damage, which usually is drilling it and such. But it creates dust, and we can't have anything around us. We don't have negative air. We don't have anything sucking the air out and filtering it through. No HEPA filters, nothing like that. And dust, the mortar dust, if you breathe it, you can get silicosis, which is permanent lung damage. So, it's like you do really want to do this, particularly with these people that you can't get them to agree to wear face masks or anything, because they're like, they don't want us there at all. They don't understand why we're there. They just want us out of there. So our liaison takes the Coke bottle, punches a hole in it, it's got water in it, and he sets it up above the saw, and immediately shorts out. Great. Now, the problem was, and I'm not there. I think everything's under control, and I had gone away, so it's like I get a phone call later. But the difficulty was that the extension cord had to go. I mean, this is one of our magnificent modern buildings. Had to go 200 feet away before they could find a friggin' outlet. So if you have that much distance, it shorts out really quickly. But not only does it short out, all the lights are out. Suddenly, everything is black, dark. Nobody can see anything. Nobody's standing there with a flashlight. They're all standing there in the dark until the guys with the flashlights come along, which is the Secret Service that wants to know why the hell somebody shut off all their lights. Anyways.